Mic test. Mic test. Oh, there we go. What's going on, y'all? Happy Friday. It's no noise time. I am Z Rex. It's September 22nd, 2020. Trace at noon o'clock. Hope y'all have had an awesome week. Getting ready for a fun weekend. Let's talk about some price action because we do have a little bit after the Fed meeting. I did miss that Wednesday stream. I'm sorry about that. I'm just juggling too many business projects right now, and I got to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I will. Just need to work out some kinks on a couple things. Anyway, whatever. That's okay. It's all good. It's a work in progress. But anyway, let's talk about some price action. We're gonna have to do a quick, fast stream today. Bitcoin Mama Bear. Let's start with that. And let's start with the weekly and kind of ratchet down, see what it looks like. So, just playing around with this line. All right. And let's get rid of this line too. Clean up the chart a little bit. We don't really need this one. All right. That looks pretty good right there. All right. Setting up kind of would have been nicer if the Bulls could have been above this 27,000 area. Kind of a little bit of rejection if the weekly closes like this. We still do have 2 days, so quite a bit of time. Let's jump over to the futures. They do close here in a few hours. Yeah, so setting up for that kind of close. Let's ratchet down. All right, so we're ping-ponging between the 21 and the 55. Now, is this fairly constructive? It definitely is, but the problem with this is this just a lower high right here? This will be very important over the next few days if this does start to build an actual lower high, and I would start to call it a lower high if we start closing below about 26.3, because then we'll start breaking all this structure here, and then it will start to look like just lower high. Now, conversely, if this does pop back up above 27, like 2-ish, and then we can get back over this 27.8, that would look very nice in the structure. But right now, very neutral on all the oscillators. Are pegged at 50. We're right in the middle of the neutral zone on DMI, just kind of lollygagging here. Let's go to the monthly because we got about a week left on that. Yeah, nothing, just kind of chilling. So not much different than the last stream, just kind of long as it's staying above this lower 26, but really needs to clear that 28,000 level. All right, let's go to BTC. GBTC is actually looking a little bit concerning here. Not too super terrible until it's like back below like 1840. This one has looked more bullish than Bitcoin spot price for a while. We've talked about it a bunch on the stream. Look at this, right in the middle though of the 200 and the shorter term moving averages. Really need to hold this 1840-ish level. Kind of just right in the middle of it. And the DMI, the bulls, barely losing momentum the last couple of days here. So that's an interesting spot. Let's see if ETH is still closing up on the vol flashes. Yes, wow, we are about to get another one. 1, 2, what is it, 3? No, it's actually going to be 4. Holy crap. 4 weekly vol flashes. I don't know if I've ever seen that on like any tradable with 4 weekly ones in a row. That is pretty crazy. Just still further building the compression, and the move out of this is going to be so big, y'all. It really is. It really is. Like I said last stream, like after resolution of this, I'm pretty much looking for 13, low 13s, or probably breaking over 2,000. So let's see here. Litecoin. Let's go to Litecoin. Charlie, there you go. It's just kind of basing. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. A lot kind of like Bitcoin's chart. Is it a lower high? Not yet. Not quite confirmed, but as long as we're holding this 62, mid 62 handle, it looks pretty good. And you can see, though, we're getting pressure put on us real quick. This trend line was respected already twice in this form, which has been on this chart since I think the top of the last bull run. So very respected trend line. So if we clear that, I would look for probably a run up here to 73-ish. And we're getting squeezed into the apex right here from this horizontal and this trend line, which it looks like beginning of October or like mid-October. So, all right, let's go to ETC. Yeah, whatever. These I'm just going to kind of fly through those because they're just annoying charts at this point. You're like, what the hell, man? Do something. It hasn't really done anything for a long time. So, what the hell? Sorry, there's like a weird ass noise coming from outside my door. I don't know what the hell that is. Okay, just ignore that. We're just gonna ignore that and move on. XRP looks fine above 48. Nothing's changed from Monday stream on that. Nice bounce last week off 48, getting continuation. Really needs to clear these little local highs though from late August that most of these charts have. So that's going to be around 54 pennies. Let's go over here to XLM. Man, barely holding on below 11 cents. Starts to look a little bit nasty and concerning, but this is between the short and long-term moving averages. I usually don't like to take trades between here because it's just like 50-50 shots. And it's kind of just funky patterns. TRX. TRX is continuing to show some strength. It is stalling out a little bit here, which is not surprising at that big 8.5 penny level. So y'all can see the struggle is real here and here and here and for a bunch of days here. But if we get over that 8.5 penny level, I really do think that opens the doors for about 10 cents. All right, let's see. DOT looks like garbage. Getting worked by the 21. There's nothing there. Not terrible chart. ADAs look kind of the same as DOT, just getting worked. I mean, there's nothing. It's just lower lows, lower highs. Nothing's changing on that. Link is doing pretty good. It's actually above. Wow, it's actually above its 200. So this actually looks pretty damn sexy above 640. So no problems on Link. Bouncing off the bottom end of the range again, doing its ping pong trade mode one more time. So pretty nice above 640 on Link. EOS is probably just doing nothing. Yeah, super, super sideways. Trying to put in a little base here in the mid 50s, but man, it's just a funky ass chart. Don't really care too much about it below 60 cents. Whoops. BCH. BCH is looking okay above about $200. But again, here's that same type of pattern though with the lower high and usually a lower low on the body structure. So, bulls still got some work to do. They're like trying to make it look good, but look at all this rejection here. Look at all these wicks. Bam, 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 bam. So pretty interesting there on that. I would be concerned below 200. Really need to clear 225 on that guy. BSV super tight still. It's been the same price for a month now. So that's cool. Really 29 and 33-ish. Until it's out of that, this bitch is compressed as hell, man. Go to a weekly. We don't even have weekly vol. Don't have enough time for that one. XMR. Let's go to a weekly on XMR. What is it doing? Nothing. Sideways as hell. Is this kind of a really sloppy ascending triangle? I don't know. That's probably forcing it a little bit. But still kind of the same thing. A little bit better than the other ones, I guess, slightly because we are above this little local high. So it's a little bit better than the other coins, but still kind of the same type of structure above 142 and below 150. That's like its ping pong range there. Zcash looks like, okay, Zcash actually looks like it's trying to get a little party started. Very neutral on DMI, so we're not getting any follow through there yet. But the RSI looks kind of good, and it looks like it's at least wanting to come and tap the underbelly of this trend line. But like some of these other coins, with long-term trend lines that go back to the pretty much the all-time high, this bitch is going to be tough to get over. And once it does get over, though, we can start to look for some pretty nice moves, I think, on Zcash. I would look for at least coming up into this cluster between 29 and like 35-ish or so. Dash does Man, what the hell, Dash? Crap below 27. Just don't even care. Let's see here. Dogecoin barely holding on, loses 6. It's probably going to mid fives at least, and maybe even lower. Conversely, really needs to get back above the devil's number, triple sixes. STX just going sideways as hell, same kind of structure. I mean, this is pretty easy chart reading here, above 44 and below like 52 is kind of whatever zone. True is actually breaking out of his box. This is doing something very different than all the other ones. This looks very nice. This actually has all the bullish posturings on DMI, RSI, everything. Structure. This actually looks very good above 3.4 pennies. Definitely like this. See if we can get a couple more days up here and get the 21 to cross fully. Let's go to the weekly. Obviously, the 21 weekly is still providing some good resistance, but off the daily, this is a very good base forming. And let's see. So above, what did I say? 3-4. Really need to clear this 4 penny level. Seems to be a point of contention for the bulls. XRD, let's go, baby. Let's go. Very nice. We're talking about this nice retracement on this last week and earlier in the week, getting follow through. This looks really good. If we get out of 6.42, of course it has to be that, I would be looking for probably the next target of mid lower sevens, and then really has to clear this top part, this local high here at 8.5 pennies. And then we unlock this zone here. So could be a pretty good move here building up for XRD. It's been showing relative strength. Look at this RSI. I'm sorry. Look at this DMI staying in the power zone actually literally since late last month. So pretty nice to see that getting a continuation on this guy. Looks very good above about 6 cents. Let's see, 165. This looks pretty good above 165. Just kind of flagging out a little bit here. With the measured move would be just above or just about even with all this horizontal space. Big point of contention, about 2 cents. Losing 1.6 would be pretty bad. Adam is actually trying to do a little bit of pumping this week. Look at that. Doing something different. Adam hasn't done something different since this little attempt right here. So that's pretty nice. That was in midsummer, late June there. So this is kind of nice, looking pretty decent above 6.9. All right. Really got to clear 7.5 though. Osmos does not doing that. It looks like shit below 35 cents. Ton given a little bit of a break yesterday, but pretty nice pump all the way to 250. Let's zoom out just a tad. Yeah, I mean, you can see that's clear, mad resistance right here. We can actually just throw up a horizontal. Whoops, not that far. More about like right there, because that's where all these touches are. A couple of the bodies, and then these touches too, right here. So 250 or 260, sorry. But this does look really good. Looks like just a retest so far of the trend line break in the 21. So as long as it's above about $2 flat, which is what we were looking for before as previous resistance, that does become new support. EOS, well, I'm tripping. ES. All right, guys, look at this shit. ES 4,500 was the line in the sand. We talked about if we lose 4,500, probably even on a 3-hour open and close, it's probably effed. And we did indeed get that. The follow through the downside, full open and close on the Fed day on Wednesday, which they just said, yeah, we're holding high, long, whatever. It's the same crap they've been saying. But these are nasty candles, and you get open and closes. We talk about this a lot on the stream when they engulf both of the trend lines in one swoop. That's usually really nasty. And when it happens on major support and breaks a low, it's extra nasty. So we ended up getting that real fast follow through, down 169% yesterday. And we are getting held up by the bottom here at about 43.69-ish. Of course, it's where it is. So this is definitely a point that could support the bulls for a second, but it looks like we're just going to kind of chill here. I'm not expecting anything by the end of the day, just kind of probably lollygagging down here. And then next week, we'll see if bulls can muster up some strength and defend this upper 4,300 handle. Because if they don't, we were talking about potentially this gap getting filled over here at about low 4300s if this did break down. So that would be the next point of contention, and we can actually would be the number. Then I would almost most certainly look for that gap to be filled. Let's look at NASDAQ. It is also, oh my God, hold up. It's actually looking a little bit better, a little bit higher, finding support around that 15K level. So we haven't broke 15K like officially. We might do it on today's candle on open and close, but no follow through, kind of in the same vein as what I just spoke about on ES. Kind of just lollygagging here. One could argue this might be a really big distribution pattern now, the way this is playing out. And the DMI is showing that bears are getting the momentum here. And it's pretty firm at this point, being sub 15.5. As long as price is below 15.5 now, we have to be pretty cautious after this reaction from the bulls attempting to do something here. And, we also saw that too with this candle back giving us a little bit of a clue. We were speaking of last week that this is engulfing all this price action, kind of being like, hey, what the hey, bro? What are you doing, bulls? All right. Same with Dow, kind of in this. These all have the very similar structures. Is this a big distribution? Is this a big distribution pattern? Yeah, potentially, but really got to break low at 34,000. The one that actually is already kind of doing it is Russell. You can see we were talking about that head and shoulders is this one, but on the last video, I think we were talking it has to open and close below the neckline, which would have been this candle on Wednesday. We get that, and we are getting follow through. The measured move on this is the other side of range. So this actually hasn't gone all the way to its bottom horizontal. Is it going to work all the way to the mid 1700s? I mean, why not? Another 50 points at this point is not really that much, and that would fulfill this pattern measured move. So that would be pretty nice. And right now, until this trend line gets broke too, you can actually see it's really weird that in the last, I guess, pretty much about a year, we've had this very similar trend line angle here and here and here that has been respected. And there's almost the same amount of space between them. This one obviously is a little bit tighter, but there's almost the same amount of space between these. So that's kind of weird. But as soon as this breaks, we can probably look for a rally back up to 1900 or so. Let's see. The tranny index is pretty much all the way at the top of this red box. Should be some decent support here. DAX is still lollygagging. Look at this compression, though. We've got all the EMAs within 1.5% now, right on the 200. Dude, if this thing loses like 15.5, I really do think we at least go down to about mid 14s, most likely. But this is starting to look pretty nasty right here. This is very concerning, I think, for bulls. What would change my mind is getting comfy above 16,000. VIX is spiking hard after that sell-off yesterday and the Fed stuff. VVIX is still well below 100, though. Still kind of just right in this little cluster area. Y'all know we really got to get over 100 for the bears to get super excited. So we'll just keep moving on from there. Oil is looking pretty good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this above like 87.5 on the short term. Just working this shit up. 93 to 95 is major resistance. So, we're going to probably just ping pong and get price acceptance and discovery between this low 80s and mid 90s. So until it's really out of that, it does look good and mostly trending to the upside. Nat gas just really super sideways. I mean, really needs to clear 285 or break 250 for any kind of Momo. Woo, yep, higher for longer. Look at this, brutal. Bonds are actually breaking down fully after whatever the Fed babbled on Wednesday. Holy moly, I did not notice that. That is nasty, y'all. Very nasty price action. Man, let's go over to TNX. That means it's breaking out. Oh, snap. Yeah, we're above that 435 area. So this is that area that we need to be watching out, man. Watch out, y'all. This is, man, pressure on majors is real, especially NASDAQ. Look, rallied right up to the trend line. What are we at? That was, I think we were looking for 105.50, right? Yeah, 105, which is about where we're at. So we probably will get a little bit of stalling, excuse me, Here, lots of resistance, but man, if we start clearing 105 and work our way into 106, oh man, that would be crazy. High rates, higher gas prices, and strong dollar. That is a potentially nasty combination for some major headwinds. Let's see. Gold. What is gold and precious metals doing? Just lollygagging sideways, really tight. Oh, hold on. Let's get the auto there. Real tight here. All the EMAs are within, what is that, like $20? Super tight. That hasn't happened in quite a while, since probably back over here in June of last year. Let's jump out to the weekly. Yeah, I mean, it's just the same shit it has been really for like at least a month or two. If it's above 1920, it's all right, but really needs to clear that 2000 area to get the bull boner going. Oh, let's see. Silver trying to bounce one more time off these lows, back above all the trend lines. So that's good. If it could kind of camp up here, in the upper 23s, right around $24, and get this trend line to cross back up, this actually would be a pretty good position to rally off of again. But y'all already know that mid 24 handle is very serious for the bulls. They can't clear that. It's just ping pong mode for life, son. Look at this. We've already been in it for, I mean, arguably you had this little outlier and this outlier, but for the most part, for all of this year and part of last year, it's just been sideways as F. Really would like to see a higher high in this structure at some point. Rejection at, wow, 950 ain't no joke, y'all. Look, we rallied to 950, sell off immediately. Are we trying to base here? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It looks like the attempt is real, but we're just not getting any follow through yet on either side. It's just ping pong mode as well here. All right, and I think that's it for the majors. Let's go over to the top traded. Let's see if Apple is breaking down yet. Nope, not yet. Microsoft close though. Microsoft loses 310. We probably go and fill this gap over here, which is a pretty big gap, about a $20 gap from the earnings back in early in the summer. So pretty interesting, right at a major point of contention. Apple is looking pretty nasty. You could argue this is a bear flag right here. Let me just draw it for you so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You could argue this is like a bear flag right here. So if we start getting comfy below 172.50, we probably will go test, I would say, the top kind of part of this business, the top middle range of all this. Let's go to a weekly so that looks a little bit more clear. I can kind of, oh my God, what the hey? There we go. Yeah, so kind of like this little cluster here and this little trend line cross, which also coincides with the 55. That would be the next kind of stop around like 168, 169. Yeah. And we are losing momentum finally on the DMI on the weekly, which it hasn't lost that momentum for a long time, since pretty much this entire year. So that's definitely noteworthy too. Let's go over to, what's another Amazon? I'm thinking of the big boys. Pretty much the market is only like 7 stocks. Ooh, man, gap here. Man, this one 126. Below that starts to get real ugly. We need to keep an eye on these majors, the Fang Mans or whatever the hell they've called them. I know a lot of the companies have changed their names or whatever, so there's probably a new acronym for it. But yeah, we're kind of just sideways, man. This could potentially turn out to distribution and get kind of nasty. Let's go look at weed stonks real quick. What are they doing? Are they keeping up? Nope, selling off. Yeah, not a surprise when you come up to major points of contention. They usually don't hold on that long, especially when you go straight vertical. We talked about this live on stream. I sold all my weed stocks up here as soon as it touches that. I'm not holding through that. I can always rebuy back in. You can always rebuy. If you hit your trade and you come up to major points of contention, there's no point in riding through it, at least in my opinion. I'd rather just take the money, especially in something that's super volatile like weed stocks or even crypto. You could say that too. So now is it time to rebuy? Maybe. I'm going to wait till next week, though, to do anything. I want to see what majors do, because if no one's going to go risk on if, the ES and everything and Russell and all that shit's selling off really hard. Now, is this better than it's looked in a long time? Yeah, it is. It most definitely is, like we talked about last week and maybe the week before. I don't remember exactly, but Is this better than it has looked in long time? Oh, absolutely. Did it still fill the same pattern out though so far? Yeah, technically it did. I mean, it went right to this trend line and we got rejected. This trend line has been respected since pretty much 2021. So for over 2 years, this thing has been respected, and it usually ain't going to break on that first time. Now, can it build up a chart and push through this? Yeah, it could. If we can stay above about 70 cents, I think that builds up nicely for that narrative. And if it goes below that, kind of like this little swing here at 70, then I'd start to get concerned. And it probably goes all the way back down to here. But if we can start building the chart up here between like 70 and like a buck, I would think that that would bring us a potential good chance of breaking through this trend line. Because, man, if this trend line gets broken, I mean, we can jump out to a weekly and we can pull some fibs on this biatch from this little cluster, because that's going to be the next obvious point of contention. If we pull a fib off this, we could look for the 786 to 886 retracements. Oh, funny, we've installed right at the 618 too. So many areas of resistance there. Nice. But anyway, if we did break this trend line, I would look for ultimately a retest of that 180 area. And if the bulls are real strong, we should see like 270 to 350 off of that push. Now, that's a lot and looking ahead, and we don't have that in play yet. But that's something that could be coming to fruition here as long as we kind of build the chart correctly. We'll be keeping an eye on it, though, as we have been for a while. And the way that the Health and Human Services saying, we need to deschedule it and all that, they're not going to be able to sleep on 3 to 6 months where there's an official statement from our lovely managers of this country, because that's a pretty big deal there. All right. This one looking they're all kind of in the same boat. Y'all get the picture. Let's see. What else do we want to look at? Oh, yeah, blockchain. We got to look at our blockchain stuff, at our index. What's it doing? Oh, snap. Uh-oh. It's breaking down that 370 level. That's not good for the bulls, for Bitcoin bulls. Now, is it barely hanging on to the 55 in this structure? Yeah, it definitely is. So it's not totally terrible yet, but getting comfy below this 370 is that's kind of like a flipping point. It's only been a day or two, or like a day and a half, and we are right in the middle of all the EMAs. So this is a pretty interesting spot. I will watch this super closely, as we usually do, and if we start breaking down to the downside here, I guess that's redundant. Of course, we're breaking down to the downside. If we start breaking down more and lose like 330, then I'll start to get really concerned about crypto bulls. Coors is also testing the 69 level again. Ooh, nasty rejection candle, though, on Wednesday. I guess crypto didn't really like the Fed news there, which, if you can get mad yield, I mean, I'm seeing 6-7% on 6-month CDs now. I was talking to my buddy last night about this. Like, think about how crazy that is. In less than 2 years, we were seeing this is so funny too. They're advertising 0.45 APY in a 3-year CD. And you're like, what, dude? 0.45? Like, who the hell is even doing that? And fast forward like 18 months later, it's like the same thing is 6.5 for 6 months. Like, man, what a flip. That shit's crazy. Anyway, Coors looks really good at about still above 69. Anything below that, nasty. All right, and I think that's probably it. We're probably not having much stuff happening since the Fed is freaking everybody out. Yeah, everything's kind of selling off. You're supposed to back off the rate hikes. Man, and the reverse repo market, dude, it's hitting like record numbers. It's pretty crazy. I need to put together like charts and stuff like that before the show to share with you guys. I'm going to make a note actually of that. Make charts to show on the stream. All right, there we go. Just making a little note there. Oh, what do we want to look at? Psilocybin is probably falling off a lot too. Yep, totally. No follow through on that. No follow through on that. Good thing I waited for this week to think about doing that one because sometimes it happens. Patience is very good in the trading world. Very flat across the board. What's the regional banks doing? Oof, selling off. Oh, crap, dude. If KRE goes back below 35, watch out. Okay. Okay. Let's go look at Mooney bond stuff. Let's see how this is looking. HYG, man, high yield, sideways as hell. Oof, man, junk has literally been going sideways this entire year. That's kind of crazy. How about Mooney bonds? Oh, wow, Mooney bonds gap down on that news from the Fed. Uh-oh. That sucks, man, because this is what people hold a lot of, and they think it's totally bulletproof. It's government backed. Nothing can ever go wrong. And look at this, dude. We're down at COVID lows, pretty much. Nasty, dude. That's brutal. This looks real bad below 105. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, I think that's it. We're going to wrap this biatch up. Maybe, if I can click around correctly. All right, Mama Bear, just ping-ponging, being a little bitch down here on the lows. We got a nice tweezer bottom, though, here. But then we have the bulls not making a incremental higher high. So that kind of is whatever. It just makes it more neutral and with a very slight bullish edge, and only because we're above 24K in structure. And that's kind of even pushing it. It's probably mostly just neutral right now. And until we get back above 28,000. So nothing's really changed. 20, like 6 pretty much, and 28. Until we're out of that, it's kind of zone. And man, look at this. Ethereum actually looking a little bit worse. Retesting already this horizontal. That is actually a little bit bearish. And man, anything back below 1550, I would watch out. That could easily open up the trap door to about 14 and a half or so. And ultimately, there's not major support until all the way down at about 13 flat. So very interesting price action here. So be diligent. Have a great weekend. I don't see anything in the troll box. So that makes my job easier today. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Appreciate all the new subs over the last couple of days. Nasir, P. Graham, McG Mar, Giant, Ott, Samong, Horbani. Appreciate you guys. Riman, Umariz, Aziz. Man, all right. I like the names. Cool frames have been dropping too. Damn, sorry about that, guys. My Spectrum internet that I pay way too much for sometimes does that. It's kind of out of my control. But much love. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I will catch y'all on Monday morning. Happy Friday. This is No Noiz. I am Z Rex. Peace.